Welcome to Creativity and Beyond, the podcast that takes a deep dive into the life of an artist,
Talks about the arts,
creativity,
dance, music,
films,
and a lot of other stuff. We are your hosts, CJ.
Jason.
In each episode, we'll be diving into the fascinating world of arts and creativity,
Uncovering its hidden gems,
untold stories,
and shedding light on the latest trends and developments.
Whether you're a seasoned enthusiast
Or just starting to explore your creative energy,
this podcast is designed to inform,
entertain,
and inspire you. So tuned in,
and let's go.
let's go.
Welcome everyone, we're back with Creativity and Beyond for episode 4. Today we have our special guest, Chilton Galimo.
Oh yeah. So we have a special guest, Chilton Galimo. He's a dancer. He's a full-time dancer, full-time artist, a very creative individual. He's in the dance scene for a very long time. He knows a lot of stuff, so we can ask him all the shit that we're curious about. I was gonna say we're asked about. And yeah. Welcome to the podcast, bro.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome. So yeah, for people who don't know you, can you introduce yourself in your own way to the people? Because we can gaslight, like.
Well, dancing would be easier than talking, but
yeah, true. Well, you can.
See, that's it. Now you know. Also for the listeners, hi, my name is Chilton Galimo, 31 years old, living in Tilburg, was born in Suriname, South America. Represent, and been living almost my entire life here in Tilburg now. Been dancing since I was 16 years old, done battles, crew competitions, been teacher, choreographer, and right now I'm a community builder, I would say. Yes. Trying to see what the possibilities are here in the local city, trying to help other creatives, or dancers, also non-dancers, and just trying to make Tilburg a little bit a better place, I guess, in the world. So
the pillar, one of the
just
pillars.
in short.
Yes. I need to do this. Oh, this is too long. I think this one. Yes, sir. So you started dancing when you're 16.
Yeah.
But did you actually dance like way earlier, or you were just like enjoying music?
The thing is, it's the cliche thing. I started dancing but actually it's more to say I started training dance when I was 16.
Taking it more serious, basically.
Yeah, I think I was already dancing from a young age, seeing my parents when they would put on music.
Yeah.
Music, food, and dance is a big thing in Surinamese culture.
Right.
So I think people are always moving, and that's where you pick it up and you start to move as well. So basically, that's where you're already dancing.
Right.
And then at a later age, I started to train it more and dive deeper into knowledge, techniques, styles, all that kind of stuff.
Nice. What was your earliest memory dancing? Like the earliest memory that you have, like dancing, or basically.
Ooh.
Did you actually fall in love already, like at this point? Like
no, not really. I think because you always think this is the earliest memory, and then suddenly at a later point one comes in that's even earlier. I would say it's probably the one that I have now is I was probably around 6 or 7 years old, and when my parents came to Netherlands, we had friends, acquaintances that also took care of me when I was younger, so that my parents could work a lot. Their names are Kees and Joke de Vries, and they would take care of me, babysit me basically. Well, I'm not a baby anymore, but you get a picture. So that my parents could go to work and like get settled here in the Netherlands. And they also bought me some CDs. Some of my very first CDs, and one of these was The Sound of Africa was the name. I think volume 1 or something. It also had Alane by Wes. It had Aisha by Khaled.
Yeah.
Hakuna Matata by his name Jimmy Cliff, if I'm saying it right. That CD really got me into moving. And they also encouraged me just to move and not really think about dancing necessarily. Just you hear music, it does something to your body, you respond to it, and if we look back at it now, that would definitely be me dancing.
Nice, man.
Right.
Nice.
Yeah.
What's
And-
I have a question.
bro. Go.
Like, is there like a specific style of like dance in Suriname? Like, you know, some countries have like their cultural style. Like, is there one in Suriname?
They have multiple. And here comes my lack of information and knowledge.
Yeah.
They have multiple. I was also talking about this with my mom, coincidentally last week. And she already, like within a span of 5 minutes, she name dropped 3.
Oh, damn.
So that's different ones. There's even more, but I don't know all the names, and it also depends on the kind of music, the kind of environment you grow up on. So they have multiple.
Okay.
That's really nice, and these are also things that I'm thinking about for the future, to dive into even more, to figure out what is part of my ancestral DNA. Yeah.
Right. So what would you consider your very, very first art discipline, like, that you like, or as a passion, or you like doing, basically?
Art discipline.
Yeah. Is it music or?
I think it was music. At a young age, I also liked to draw, but didn't continue with that. It was also nothing serious. I don't think these kind of things start always necessarily serious. Just for fun, exploring, doing it. But music. To be honest, in the beginning I even didn't like music.
Right.
Because remember when everybody was still watching TV, you know, we had these channels like MTV, whatever.
Yeah.
So I would like to. No, my parents were always about music, right? So they would put on MTV. In the Netherlands, we also had TMF, The Box, whatever.
Yeah.
But that would take away from my time to watch cartoons, like Fox Kids or something like that.
Yeah, classic.
So, right? So when they would do that, I got angry because I would want to watch cartoons, not listen to music. So my hatred was channeled towards music. Because music took away my time to watch cartoons. So it's really, really hilarious. But it's also mostly thanks to artists like Michael Jackson, and also one of my favorite bands still, Linkin Park.
Right.
I got back into music and appreciation of music, and more and more entered my life after that.
So the first early, like, the music that you were listening to was kind of like alternative rock in this day?
Also, a lot of different things actually,
Different
and
music.
at that time you had these, people might know that, these AMVs.
Oh yeah.
What is that?
It's like
Anime music video.
What?
So people back in the days.
Is this like the lo-fi nowadays?
No.
Or
No,
is
no.
it different? No,
No, it's
idea.
it's back in the days when anime wasn't that widely accessible
Yeah,
yet. You really had to, you know, it was a little bit more behind paywalls. Nowadays you have all these streaming sites, right, where you can watch anime for free. Back then it wasn't possible, or it was raw, so you didn't have the translation or subtitles. And then some people who had already had access, they would take these episodes, cut them up, and create like a music video clip with a random song behind it and different scenes from the anime. And for example, that's how I watched Naruto in the early days, but you couldn't really watch it because it was all chopped up, so it wasn't a real episode. But at least you could see bits of it. And a lot of these anime music videos were put to rock songs, techno songs, all that kind of stuff.
Damn.
So as I'm watching the video, I'm also listening to the music, and subconsciously the music is coming in, and you catch the vibe, and you're like, oh yeah, liking the song, but actually because you like the video. So that's really funny, and that's how I got to discover a lot of music, and also Linkin Park, because they had one with In the End. and
Oh,
Dragon Ball Z,
classic,
I
yeah.
think. That somebody chopped up Dragon Ball Z over in the end. So it was really
Shit.
a good one. Yeah.
Man, I never watched any.
Really?
No, never came
AMVs.
across.
Damn.
There's
No,
a
damn.
lot.
Maybe
Yeah.
I'll get into it this point of my life. Oh, but yeah. So let's go back dancing. So you started training at 16.
Yeah.
So when you started dancing, was it like freestyle? Was it choreography? Or like how did you got into it?
It was definitely freestyle.
Freestyle.
Because all the moving to music that I had done before was
Mhm.
also freestyle.
Right. Yeah.
At this time, and also from a young age, I had already seen a lot of choreography in
Mhm.
video clips.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson, Justin Timberlake,
Mhm.
Chris Brown.
Yeah.
That was always interesting. Like, oh, it would be cool to be able to do similar movement or the same movement, a bunch of people together,
Yeah.
and just to place that as a product. But all my dancing at that point had already been freestyle based.
Yeah.
Just free dancing, just moving and reacting to music. So when I started to train it, it was even more of the same.
Mhm.
But also we started to play with creating and laying down movements that we could do together. As I started together with some friends.
Yeah.
Some people might know him also, Adil El Hamouti.
Deal.
That's
Shout
one of the that's one of the people that I started to dance with to train.
Mhm.
So he built his entire career path, and we still see each other from time to time. But you go into your own direction. But it's really funny to always go back and to realize that we actually started to train dance
Mhm.
together. It was really amazing. Yeah.
Nice, man. So like, were you taking classes when you were training, or you're just training, like
No, we were
street?
just training, and there's also a shout out if we're talking about Tilburg to Renewed, because Renewed, if for people that don't know, is the local youth work organization, and they have, let's say, youth centers all around the city in different neighborhoods, and there was also one near my neighborhood, near my house. And the goal of these centers is to be open to youth as a way to keep them off the street as well,
Right.
and to provide fun things to do inside with under the surveillance of 1 or 2 youth workers, under their guidance, I would love to say. But then they have a lot of fun things. So in my center they had 2 PCs, which was a big thing when we were 10 years old. It had internet. It had MSN. Everybody would go there.
Classic internet cafe.
Exactly, that kind of vibe. But they also had a pool table. They had a ping pong table. They had a PlayStation 2. They had board games. So for youths to spend time there, to meet each other, to see each other. They would also organize fun activities like a boys' night, a girls' night, that kind of stuff. And then
Day them night. Day.
The what?
Day them night.
Day them night. Nowadays, a person's night.
I got you all.
You're good. A person's night.
Yeah.
That should be coming in as well. And they also had a dance space in the back with like a Pioneer DJ set. And then they offered us, if it was a trade-off. If they could ask us for workshops from time to time, we could use that space for free. So that's where we started dancing for ourselves without a we would train ourselves. We would see things and have ideas that we thought were cool and just try them in the practice. That was basically it. And it was together with Adil. Ahmed was also there. And another friend of mine, Sandeep, who had taken an interest in DJing. So as the 3 of us would be dancing and practicing, he would just play with a DJ set to work on his own skills and provide the music, which was really nice.
Nice, man. Were you guys training a certain style, or you guys were just dancing like, fuck it, we're just gonna move to this music, doesn't matter, no style, does not put herself in a box?
Basically, yes, no style, just doing all of it. But from time to time, even if you look at certain video clips, you would see breaking in it, we would see popping in it, and it's like, oh yeah, did you see this move from that Missy Elliott clip? And then we would just like try to copy it how we thought it would be done. So yeah, a mixture of both, but primarily just dancing free without a style.
Nice, man. I mean, that's the best way to kind of like start dancing. instead of like on studio, you know. Because I also myself, I never knew a studio exists until I moved to Ireland. I was like, oh, you guys go to studio to dance and practice? Never knew that happens, man.
Same. Yeah, I'm the same.
But yeah. So, but your earliest like dance journey also was choreography, right? Like when you tried to like.
Yeah, shortly after.
Yeah.
After we started training, like maybe 6 or 7 months later, Adil had some friends that were also training at a dance studio here in Tilburg, and they saw his talent and they asked him to join their crew. The kind guy that he is, he also showed me to them. And through that way I got into another crew because I'm younger. So there was another crew from a younger age that I got asked for.
Nice.
So
what's the name of the crew?
That crew was named Respect.
Respect, shout out. I'm pretty sure it doesn't exist anymore, but
unfortunately
shout out to
not.
the past members.
You know, and also shout out to Kevin Joosten.
Oh.
For the people that know Kevin, who also taught here at Factorium.
Oh,
he was
I think I know. Yeah,
he was my first coach.
Oh,
he was the coach of Respect.
Oh, damn.
Shout out. We never met, but shout out.
So it's so funny that a lot of people that we see nowadays here in Tilburg actually come from certain backgrounds that are shared.
Yeah. Well, now that you mentioned that, I want to ask, who do you consider OGs in Tilburg for you, like in the dance scene?
If you want to cover that entirety of the dance scene, there's quite some people, I think, because there's different areas.
Right.
Even as nowadays, it was already the same back then. So first one, especially for the street culture scene, that has to be pointed out, is the Hustle Kids.
Hustle Kids, yeah, everybody know.
The Hustle Kids, to come from this city and to wreck the international scene, how they did. Come on, I mean, like
still do as well.
Still doing. It's crazy.
Yeah,
it's absolutely crazy. So, first respect and first big love is to the Hustle Kids, because what people also don't always remember is that they also organized quite some events here in Tilburg. For example, in the 013, dance battles that were filled to the brim with people from all over the world, organized by that local b-boy crew from the city.
What was the name of this event? Oh, is it Ghana or?
I wouldn't know. That you would have to ask Maka.
Yeah.
Maka's more like on point for these kind of things.
Well, Maka is gonna be here at some point.
So it's just a segue into Maka.
Maka talking about it right now.
And now we're coming back to me. So now you know the name of the event.
That's it.
Yeah, but it's those kind of things. It's amazing, and there are different places, like for example the dance school world. Oh my god!
How did the Hustle Kids impact you then? As a dancer?
As a dancer.
It was at a later time, because for example, when I started dancing, I didn't know anything about a bigger dance scene. I was just dancing in a small youth center, just being in the now, not being that aware of the environment. So it was at a later age, and I learned like, holy shit, we have the dopest b-boys in Tilburg, which gave me a little bit more proud for my city and made me want to work even harder. But as I was dancing out there in the youth center, I didn't even know there were like competition crews in the city. Later got into this dance sports school called Sport Institute Ooms, run by Peter Ooms. Shout out to Peter. He has done a lot for me. Like I said before, you started to train under Kevin. Later on, I moved to another team because drama is everywhere, right? So things happened there. And as a consequence of those things happening, things in the teams had to be shifted. So I got to a different team under the guidance of Davy de Kok. Also shout out to Davy, because under him I also made a lot of steps in that choreo world, and that's also where D Crew comes from, where D Crew originated. Another important person I think for our scene here in Tilburg has been Amy Verhagen. Also a coach, trainster, that has created a lot of amazing choreographies with different crews. People might not know, but I think a lot of things are still happening, and some crews that even exist, like The Legacy, they hail back from that time and from things that she also had done. Another crew, another school, and people that were important for this city is Hip Hop Factory.
Oh yeah.
Kurt Lee Mooring, Janine Mooring, Maka also comes from that same school. Saraya Putirai, who also has her own dance school now, the Urban Influence. So everything's connected, you know, and I know, and I think people, if they're seeing or listening to this, I hope you agree with me. Throughout time, there has been fights, dramas, disagreements, breakups, you know. So a certain school starts as one temple, there's a fight, a breakup, and suddenly you have two, you know. But it's all connected and it all hails back to certain things that were before. And I feel like even in teaching the young ones nowadays, we cannot forget about this history and prehistory.
That's true.
Because it makes us into who we are nowadays, consciously, subconsciously, whether you like it or not. It's all part of your DNA. So that's why I'm also naming all these people, because they are a vital part of who I am and why I am today.
Nice, man. Thanks for sharing, because like we also don't know, you know, like it's not like we grew up here in the city, so it's nice to know this also. And maybe for people who's watching, who's living in Tilburg, now you know. You know, if you don't know,
now you know.
Okay,
nice.
But yeah, man. So that do you have a question, or I know you have some.
My mind's a bit blank right now. Oh wait, so like, what was it like? What was so attractive? Well, maybe it wasn't. Maybe there wasn't anything attractive to you, but like when it came to dance, obviously there was something in you that was like, oh, I want to pursue this more. Maybe it was for fun. I think in most cases, it starts off as fun, right? But at some point, obviously, you develop like a certain like attraction to it, or a certain passion for it that made you want to go a bit further. Because now you're in like you're a teacher now, you know, in like an institution, so that doesn't just come from like when you were a kid being like, oh, one day I'm gonna be you know, so
you made him sound Asian there.
That's for me at least. It wasn't the case indeed. I think the most pure motivation that has always been there was the fun and discovery. Discovery of what a human body can do, of what my human body can do. What are the possibilities? How much stronger can I get? How much more flexible can I get? How much faster, etc., etc. There's always these things like, oh, I wanted to be on stage with an artist, or I want to be a teacher. But I think these are sort of like goals. That almost feel like an endpoint. But I feel like the body is the vehicle that brings you there. So I subconsciously wasn't focused on. I would love it to be with on stage with somebody like Chris Brown or whatever. But for me, already discovering that my body can do all these things made me eager to learn, like, what can I do even more. That has always been the factor and the motivator for me to keep training dance. Just to discover. It doesn't matter where I would end up. That makes sense.
And like we've been to your place. We've seen a lot of trophies and stuff. So I have a question, because a lot of, obviously, like the battle scene has grown quite a lot with social media and stuff like this, and for example, styles of hip hop are kind of more tailored, well, at least in my opinion, tailored to more training for battles. Back then, when you were training for this stuff, like, how much does like your ego come into play when you need to go compete? Because you, like I said, you racked up a lot of trophies. For people who don't know, he has a whole like glass,
Wait,
just trophies.
yeah, we don't have a bureau for you guys.
Yeah.
But,
It's a lot.
Like 3, 4,
Like-
4. Like 4
Yeah.
glass.
Because you're young as well, right? Like when you got those, so I think when you're young, you're really hungry for that, like the spotlight and just being to show yourself and show what you are. So
What I like to turn things into games,
yeah,
like this kind of gamification element, and I was always limit testing myself. So not necessarily about, okay, I have to be the best or I want to be able to call myself the best, but I had very simple goals of for example, the first time, can I win a battle?
yeah,
So then the focus on, okay, in reverse, how do you win a battle?
Yeah.
So you research it and you check it and you work on your body until you get that goal. Then it's like, okay, can I win 2 or 3 battles? Can I win 2 or 3 battles in a year, for example?
yeah,
Later on, it's like for all the people also who know, like not really battles, but for, let's say the UDO solos. So it's like a league and you have multiple events in a year. Let's say back in the times there might have been 8 events.
yeah,
Then a step is like, can I win all 8 events in 1 year?
yeah,
For example,
yeah,
can I do it again the year after?
yeah,
What do I need to do to maintain this? How do I need to train my body, etc., etc., etc. So these were the questions that I asked myself.
okay,
So always in relationship, I guess, to myself, not necessarily to others, because I was already quite aware that you might end up in 10 finals, and it could be a different opponent anytime.
yeah.
So it's not about, again, me and comparing myself to others or being the best,
yeah,
but even if you want to be the best, you have to beat everybody, irregardless of who it is.
yeah, exactly.
So for me, that brings the focus back to me.
Yeah.
And what are my capabilities? Am I capable of doing that, or what do I still need? What do I need to grow in? What do I need to improve on myself to get there?
Yeah,
So I've always reflected it back on myself, back onto things that I had a little bit of control over, and to get the most out of those.
okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you have like like there's like sometimes when people ask like what's like the best advice you could give me, and they say like just focus on yourself, you know. If you could write out like a quick logical step by step of how they would do it, what would you say? Because we've all heard that, right? Like, oh, just focus on yourself, but you're like, what does that mean, bro? You know, like, what does that mean?
I at one point I made a calculation, and it's not scientifically grounded or anything.
Yeah.
Just a hypothesis. In this self-focus thing, I'm convinced that, for example, if Jason and I are opponents, not just in one battle, but let's say that all still anime style or even Pokemon, we're rivals. You know, he's Goku, I'm Vegeta, he's Ash Ketchum, I'm Gary, that kind of stuff. So we already know we're both on this journey. The journey is gonna last for multiple years. We're gonna fight each other multiple times. How can I keep engaging? And improving? And then I thought to myself, if Jason is spending 100% of his time on his own training and improvement, and I spent 90% of my time on my improvement and 10% of my time on Jason, I think eventually he is always going to be one step ahead of me, at least 10% ahead of me. And I tried to, I took this and put it to my own training. And also later on when I coached teams, I also had this as one of the main red threads throughout our focus. If other crews are focusing on us, if other dancers are focusing on us, they lose time to train. If we keep all our time on our training, eventually, and it can take a long time, but we will improve faster than they will improve. And that's my advice to a lot of people, especially in nowadays, because there's so much distraction. The more you get yourself distracted, the more that focus on your own training is decreased. And then the question is, how much do you want to let it decrease? So I believe if you really want to grow, put focus on yourself, and the more focus you put on it, the faster you can grow. And of course, I can already hear people say, yeah, but you also need inspiration. You need to look at others. I get that, but there's a difference to being aware and seeing things, or being obsessed and captivated by them, which takes away your attention and your ability to even go towards your own practice.
Nice, man. Before I ask a question, do you need to be somewhere at 3:30?
Actually, I should.
Yeah? Okay, then we need to
Oh, okay.
Shit.
slowly wrap it up. But I had a lot more questions, but we're gonna do
part 2.
We're gonna do a part 2.
We also need a part 3 together with Allison, because I want to talk about social shit with you all.
Let's
get it.
Let's do it.
About being black in the Netherlands.
Eating an Asian and Filipino.
Let's go.
No white people allowed.
Only if you're Puerto Rican, then you're welcome.
I just want to ask like 2 more things. So like, how do you train? Like, how do you structure your training? Or, okay, so 2 questions. First question, how do you train? Second question is, what is your creative process?
Oh, wow. Whew. That's a lot. There's also it's dependent on a lot of variables.
Right.
Okay, how do I train?
Yeah, like how do you structure your training?
In different ways.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Like
There's
the most common one that you do, and people could also implement with their own training.
Let me say it like this: I have my training is made up out of different components. One component is free dancing,
right?
Just dancing, sometimes like an idiot, just moving your body, flapping your arms and legs all over the place, just doing whatever, and hopefully you find things in that feel nice, or feel good or comfortable, but also hopefully you find things that do not feel nice. Second component would be drilling, and then I can make a choice to take those things that I like, that feel nice, or things that feel uncomfortable, repeat until they improve. That's the second component. And then a third component is meeting myself halfway, doing the full freedom and implementing things from drills, for example, or ideas into that. So then I'm not that fully free anymore, but I'm going for the freedom, but trying to put those things into my dance that I have trained or drilled or wanted to try out. I think these 3 are my main components. So an area of complete freedom, where I'm not judging myself. If you want to judge me, go ahead, I don't care. A part where I'm really have been analyzing, I'm like, okay, this is drillable, this is going to turn into a drill, I want to improve on this. And a part where I try to then bring those things back into my dance. So back towards the freedom, but in my eyes that's not that free anymore, because you know certain things already. So not everything is left up to chance, let me say it like that. And then the other question,
what is your creative process?
My creative process, also with the former, when I talk about the components, because I talk about the components, I can also shift the order to my liking, or to what I feel like my body wants to do that day. And the same happens for my creative process. Sometimes both in freestyle, but also in making a choreography or thinking out a script for like a video that I would want to shoot. Sometimes I start with a song. Sometimes I start with a sound, like the wind or birds outside. Sometimes I just start to move. Sometimes I start with a concept or a theme. So these are already different components. And depending on how I feel or what approach I want, I can take a component out. Let's say start with the music, and then I was like, no, this one goes to the back. Today I'm going to start with a theme. The theme is everything we're doing today is going to be stationary. Okay, maybe then the next component is let's experiment with movement. What kind of movement does fit with this? Okay, I found something that I like. Now let's find a song that goes with this. But sometimes I flip those 2 around. So I have the same concept. Let's do everything stationary. Let's first find a song that feels good with this. Okay, and now let's find movement based on both the concept and that go along with the song. But and I think there's even more writing down things, so that they're not always in your head. Just to write them out, so you can look at them and also judge them sometimes. Then you see your idea, you're like, this idea is rubbish, scratch.
Yeah.
But in your mind, it's way harder to do that because our mind is like changing all the time, right? But when you write it down, it's so stationary. It's like black or white, and then I like this or not, and then you can change it. You know.
Yeah.
But that can also really help with reflecting and seeing things back outside of your mind, and that's also then a component that I could put somewhere in that line. So that's already 4. Talking to people can be a component. It's all based on how micromanageable you want to make it. But these are things that my creative process consists of, and then I have the ability and the freedom to shift the components to whatever I like in that order.
Nice.
Or even take out if I don't want to use it, for example.
And experiment with how
exactly
to do it basically. Yeah, man. Thanks for sharing that, and
no problem.
Yeah, I hope y'all learned a thing or two with this. And just last thing, what 3 philosophies do you live by?
What 3 philosophies do I live by?
Here's a
my
quote.
God. Get
Get
buck. I think I live by 100 now.
100.
I should also be able to name 100. Here we go. Damn.
We're gonna make it to practice.
Yeah. Damn.
That's it. First philosophy. Damn.
Damn. Just everything you see in life, just damn. Now, when these things when they feel so relevant in your life, but to put them out, to verbalize them, suddenly like my mind goes blank. Okay. This one won't be surprised to people, but just be kind to others.
Right.
I think something that I it's in my DNA.
Basically, like what don't do to others what you do not want others do unto you.
Yeah.
Be kind. Then you get kindness back. Time is gold.
Yeah, less is more.
Less is more.
Definitely. People might have heard me say this one more than once. Less is definitely more. And I have a notion of karma and the universe.
Yeah.
That it might not be like how karma is widely accepted or known. But I just have this thing about what goes around comes around.
Yeah.
And sometimes the thing that has come around will still go around.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to start with going around first. Very vague, I know that, but if you want to know more about this, come talk to me, then I can explain better.
Yeah,
but
exactly. And he's gonna bring up some more on part 2 with Chilton Galimo. And yeah, this has been the episode with Chilton Galimo. We're gonna do a part 2 at some point because we have so much more question about this guy. He's like a treasure chest, Like you open him up, you'll find gold in there.
Don't open me up, really. You won't find treasure there. You only find blood and guts.
So yeah. This has been episode 4 with Chilton Galimo, and where can people find you, bro?
In Tilburg. On socials, Chilton Galimo, Instagram, The Credence Collective.
There we go.
Check out the fam, CMB podcast, Elated Frames, Grounded Productions, The New Era.
Yes.
All of
yes,
it.
Sir.
Let's
Chilton
go.
Galimo, Jason Soon. Find him at Elated Frames and Jason _ CJB Prods, CMB podcast, and
Chris Brown.
and all that. Jink and Brownie podcast. Shout out. This is our new podcast name. We're dropping creativity and beyond. This has been episode 4. Thank you for watching. We'll see you on the next episode. It'll be a surprise who's it gonna be. And yeah, peace out, y'all.
Peace.
Was it this? Wait, which track was it? No.